Okay, welcome to our park board meeting. I officially call our meeting to order, and now if I can find my agenda, we'll be good to go. Excuse me while I shuffle my papers. I know, but I've looked at so much stuff since then. Sorry, we were going through the different appropriations, and here we go. Okay, now we'll get started. First, we need to approve our minutes from last month.
Motion to approve.
Can I get a second?
I'll make a second.
Thank you, sir. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Claims. Do you want me to move that to the bottom so you guys have more time to look at them? Or, do you want me to push it down the agenda, or are we okay to go ahead?
I didn't have any questions.
I'm good. I'm waiting.
I'm good.
Okay, so I will move to approve the claims as presented.
I'll make a motion.
All right, I'll second that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. New business. Miss Burnett, I'm assuming this is you?
Well, we have approval of Sunrise rates that you guys saw last time, so you've already had discussion about that.
And these were proposed, the
By
new rates
Roger.
proposed by Mr. Gallatin?
Mhm. And
Okay.
they were advertised, I don't remember what date, but it was
So
after the
we just need to
last
take
meeting.
action on
Yes,
that?
yes.
All right. I make a motion to approve the new rates that were presented last month for Sunrise Golf Course.
Second, happily.
Do we have any discussion or questions about that from the board? All
No.
those, yes?
No.
No? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Cha-ching. We also have on our agenda, it would be an amendment of sorts to our rates that we are proposing to lower the men and women softball leagues from a $300 fee to a $150 fee. And I will make the motion for that also, that we would reduce the fee for our adult softball leagues from $300 to $150.
Is that right? The number's right?
Yes, that
Yes.
is. And Christian is here if you guys would like to hear from
I
him.
saw him back there.
I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor, say aye. Aye.
Good.
And Christian, you confirmed that you were good with that.
Yeah, I mean, if there's any explanation or breakdown of why that number's so disparate from anything, I'd be glad to talk to anybody about it. It's very simple.
I don't think so. We just wanted to be assured that you were okay and could make it work with that $50 increase. Okay. We want you to be happy because you make our lives easier, Christian, and we're thankful and grateful for you.
Thank you very much.
All right, Miss Tanya, are you going to introduce our next guest, Mr. Higbee?
I am. So there's a letter there in your packet that we have given Kenny of Madison Fun Factory. And I will just share the gist of it, not read the whole letter, but we are letting Kenny at Madison Fun Factory use our skates for a year at no cost to him. So Kenny, if you want to come up and just share a little bit about Madison Fun Factory and what all you're going to have there, they would love to hear it. So if you just tap that.
Make sure this is lit up red
Down
like
here.
mine, and then you're good. A little button at the bottom. You're good.
There we go. Okay, hi guys, I'm Kenny. We're opening the Madison Fun Factory. It'll just be family entertainment for all ages. We're looking 2-year-old to 102-year-old. We want to have something for everybody. We're going to have a full arcade, a skating rink the size of a basketball court, some pool tables, cornhole boards, RC racetrack, the whole 9 yards. Goal is just entertainment for everybody that walks in the door. I've participated and visited the Brown Gym during the skate nights and thought the skating would be huge, and we're appreciative that the Parks Department is going to help us make that step. What else?
If you guys have any questions for him, but you know the letter is short. I thought I could just go ahead and read it, maybe.
Go ahead.
Got time. Okay. It says, Dear Kenny, As we thought about how best to support you in your new business endeavor with our skates, we feel compelled to let you use them free of charge for 1 year to help you get started. They have served our community families well, and we couldn't be happier that they will continue to do so through Madison Fun Factory. Most all of our parks and park facilities have been gifted to us by generous people for the enjoyment of all to use, including the Brown Gym where the skates were held. We choose to honor the 100th birthday of Brown Memorial Gymnasium opening, which was February 27, 1925, and the tremendous generosity of J. Graham Brown by being generous ourselves in this manner. Generosity is one of the foundations of our parks, so we don't want to just talk about that and share those stories, but also be it. We are truly just stewards of the gifts that have been given to our community from one generation to the next. Sincerely, Madison Parks and Rec Team. So we made this decision and signed the letter on the 100th birthday of the gym on the 27th.
What happens after that 1 year? Do we just get the skates back?
We'll revisit if he's doing well. We're hoping that we don't need him back, that he's very successful and they continue to be used, so we just revisit.
You'll replace skates that are become.
I mean, we're hoping that at the end of the year, you'll want to buy them from us, and, your business will be thriving, and, we'd like to help you promote that and support that, too. So I think that was our main concern, is that there was a time limit, and that if it was broken, that it would be replaced, and that hopefully, you'll be buying them a year from now, and everything's going well.
Not trying to hit, but is that written in an agreement somewhere, the replacement of damaged skates or anything like that?
No, not.
We have him on tape now, okay?
We got that, just verbal.
Yeah.
He's told us that from the first time he met with us, so.
Does anybody else have a question for?
No, good luck, and I'd like to come and take a tour sometimes. I think Carla did, but I'll get a hold of you and try to do that as well. But good luck with everything. I think it's great.
He's done a phenomenal job with that building,
Where is it?
It's the old Orscheln building.
On Wilson Avenue.
That's great.
And you've had like a soft opening and hosted a few events
I've
there.
done some private birthday parties
Yeah.
and stuff, trying to feel out the arcade and
Sure.
systems and make sure internet's working and sewer's not working, so they got 300 foot sewer line next week and try to fix it. And our goal is to open March 29th, so
Okay.
see what happens.
Well, good luck with that. And you can sit down, bless your heart. I know you don't like
you.
being
Good
up
luck.
there.
Kenny, for coming.
Thanks for coming tonight, Kenny, so we could see you and ask questions. Miss Tanya, you have a park team report for us.
I do, and that's printed here in your packet. I prepared that for City Council last night, so I just included that, and it's got reports from everybody on the team, all there in one report. I think one of the biggest changes since we last met, everybody we did a breakdown of reports from each of the 5 of us, but that's official now, that rather than hire a park director, we formed a 5-person leadership team. And they're listed there. I'm going to be the director, I am the director of operations. Christian Hansen is superintendent of grounds. Whitney is athletic director. Brett Ricketts, community development director. So Brett took on additional responsibilities of events and other community programming that's not the athletic programs that Whitney runs. And then Roger, the Sunrise Golf Pro. I did go ahead and list all the personnel changes right now that are happening. Kim is retiring on May 2nd after 9 or 10 years, 9 years, 9 years of service to the Parks Department. So I want to publicly thank her for all of her hard work, and you'll be here next month. You got one more park
Yeah.
board meeting? That'll be your last meeting. We have hired Linda Lee to replace her. She's just going to be part-time rather than a full-time position. We made that a part-time position. We have Kenny there in the morning, so Linda will work. We'll adjust their hours to have the whole time covered, but she won't be working 40 hours. She'll just be working 30. We moved our offices to the Brown Gym, so the Parks Department doesn't have an office here at City Hall anymore. We're just now, I think Christian actually already hired 2 seasonal maintenance employees to help with athletic fields. Campground host, you guys met last time. And then league directors, there's a little bit of information there. Mike Watson is who Whitney has hired as the baseball, softball league director. And she might have mentioned that last time anyway. This is kind of a quarterly report, so some of this you heard at the last meeting. But I don't know. You don't want me to read this whole thing, do you? Or do you want me to go through all of it? Highlights?
Would you
Okay.
mind telling us why you decided to go to the Brown Gym?
So we could all be together, and it just made more sense because Whitney was already there. That's where the admin office was. And then I personally am going to be at the pool a lot this summer, helping there. So it's right across the street. And for us to communicate, it just made more sense to be in one building. I'm the one that comes to City Hall for staff meetings, any of those kinds of things. So I will, and I'll meet with Bob and Mindy regularly just to get information to inform the rest of the team. So I'll be the point person, but I'll just come up here when I need to. It also, with having someone part-time there, then there's Whitney and I also there, in and out. So if we need coverage at the gym, one of us will be there. It's been really nice, though. We've liked it. The view's beautiful.
I'm not trying to grill you, I just wanted to get it on record.
Yeah, okay. I think it's less confusing for the public. Before, they had some things for the Parks Department, they had to come to City Hall, some things they had to go to Brown Gym. So now we're one location, so it simplifies that as well. Facilities, doing a lot of cleanup, and thanks to Jake, we got a lot of cleanup done today at Brown Gym, Crystal Beach. We had, I don't know, was there 50 kids?
About 40 kids.
About
yeah.
40 kids volunteered today, and we got upstairs and downstairs cleaned at Crystal Beach, a lot of leaves cleaned out of the pool, and the basement of Brown Gym. Since the weather was bad, a couple other groups came and helped us because we had some indoor work that could be done. So big thank you to Madison Consolidated High School for those volunteers today.
Also, as Carla was saying, it shows how your new restructuring kind of helped with, because they were originally supposed to go to Sunrise, and then with your meeting, kind of realized that they could be better served down here, so.
Yeah, we've done a lot more sharing amongst the different facilities across the parks. Field work, John Paul Park and Kiwanis both had field work done yesterday. Before all the rain came, they were dry enough to get a rock hound out there and start working on that dirt, getting it ready. Both of those sat dormant last year. They didn't get to be used. So Christian's working real hard with the crew to get those ready to go, and it's exciting to see just the progress already. Dugouts will be built probably next week is when they'll start on the dugouts for John Paul Park. He said that they finished a lot of winter work at the golf course, did a lot of tree trimming. They've started doing pre-emergent weed control and at the golf course and Rucker. Then there's a whole section here from Whitney on programming. We already did talk about new software starting. That's going to be April 8th. It says April 1st there, but we had to push that back a week. Baseball, softball registration is open, T-ball as well. So we're working with the communications department to get the word out in some different ways other than just Facebook. And Whitney's doing a coaches call with the new league director. And we've gotten information to the schools, but we're going to work on some other communication ways to get that word out and get numbers up, especially for T-ball, with it being a new program this year. And then she's also got cheerleading registration is open. We've got camps this summer are all set up into the system for pickleball, dance, cheer, and science camp. And then we are looking for youth program sponsors, so banners at baseball fields and that kind of thing. We have a letter that will go out next week for not just events. Brett's working on the one for events, but I'm working with Whitney on one for sponsorships for our athletic program. help with those, the field work happening. And then there's some details there for Crystal Beach. Opening day will be May 23rd, which is a Friday. We wanted to have a sort of a soft opening day rather than opening on a Saturday or Sunday. So that's the 23rd. And then she's listed hours there. Weekday hours from May 23rd to June 8th will be from 12 to 6. Weekend hours from May 23rd to June 8th will be 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. So opening an hour earlier on the weekends. And then from June 9th to September 1st, 12 to 6 on weekdays and weekends, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. So extending that time later in the evening once school's back so that families and kids have the opportunity after work and after school to enjoy the pool for a little bit while it's still warm. And then I'm not going to read the sunrise report because Roger is here to do that, but I know there's a lot of information there. If you guys have questions, we can talk about any of that before we move on to Roger.
Okay. Christian, did you want to come up and address us at all? Is there anything you wanted to share or questions to ask? Or
No, I just talked to Whitney.
Okay.
She's been great. I didn't want to, one of the questions when the fee was going to go up was about getting work done on John Paul, and she addressed that, and it's been, so, that's going to be one of the things, just trying to get some of these guys who are sponsoring teams or splitting it among their, their buddies is, yeah, you're going to have to pay more, but facilities are going to be improved, things like that. So I wanted to address that before just saying, hey, you're going to have to pay more.
Right.
And, so that was the biggest concern, and it sounds like it's been addressed.
Okay.
Yeah, those will be in a lot better shape.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was going to make a joke when you talked about the rock hound, like did we get enough rock to build a building somewhere off of our fields, but that's good. Okay, Mr. Gallatin, would you come forward with your sunrise report, please?
All right, had quite a big packet there in front of y'all. It's pretty much what we presented at the golf board meeting last week. I think I made a few adjustments to that, but the first page is the rates that we voted on already. Second page is my score sheet. I have gone back for as many years as I could go back to get records, to get percentages, to give myself an idea of where to manage. A couple of interesting, one thing is food and beverage, 14.35% of our total revenue last year. This is over the last 2 years. I was able to go back to 2023 to get information to consolidate and get more averages. Jake asked me in the golf board meeting what could go wrong. Well, it went wrong in February. A foot of snow on the golf course till February 22nd. I had forecasted 461 rounds. We had 5 days to come up with 461 rounds. We didn't get there. It was more like 150 rounds. And the revenues show that in that box there. Once we get going and I present these on a monthly basis, I'll break out each month to make it a little more legible. This is pretty small because I was trying to get the full year on there. But this is just something that I'm doing. And on a side note, this week we've been having meetings on appropriations. So in my 35 years in the business, I'm used to seeing a P&L. So we've got expenses on one side and revenue on the other. I've been pretty dialed in with the revenue part of it, and I feel pretty confident on this spreadsheet. It's the expenses where I've been struggling. And I think with the new appropriations, we're going to be able to keep a month-to-month P&L and find out what we're doing wrong, what we need to improve. This is going south, we need to fix this. So I'm excited about the new appropriations that they have instituted. Any questions on that?
I'm just curious.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
It made me think about, I didn't mention that to you guys, but we just had our first meeting yesterday for some payroll appropriations. That's all happening, and you will have reports, financial reports moving forward. It's just the clerk treasurer's office just got the year closed, and we just now got the appropriation reports you have in front of us. So we will be working on reports for all of those funds to show the very thing he's talking about and that Roger
Sorry,
has
I jumped
done
around a little
himself.
bit on that.
No, you're okay.
No, that's right.
You know how you have the percentages
Yeah.
divvied out here? Is that like a normal, like from your experience, you're going to make approximately 30% in green fees, 25%, just asking?
Yeah, well, it helps me manage. The percentages get a lot higher in the summer.
Sure.
So that's how I kind of justify more staff. We're gonna sell more, we got more rounds, our peak months are 2,500 rounds versus 450 that I had forecasted in February. So that kind of helps me manage, forecast, do we need more soda, do we need more pop, do we need more supplies to handle increased business? So that kind of shows me how we're doing. It's basically a scorecard for myself and my staff. I want to put a number up on the board and say, go team when we, go above that number. Or, tighten up when we fall short of that number. So the appropriation is more on the expense side, and that's kind of more my job is to, send people home if we're over budget on labor, things like that.
We can also talk about the bottom line, which is, you're much more clear on what your bottom line is,
Absolutely.
which is right around $595,000 now. Last year, we made 580.
Right.
Which was just a little short, which
Yes.
would have been a lot closer. than
Well, and that's
what-
been a frustration of mine the last couple of years as we come down the home stretch and looks like we're going to get there and get real close, and all of a sudden we find extra expenses that didn't get included into the thing. It kind of pushes the number further back. So I'm excited to have a finish line that doesn't move. Other things in here, just some stuff I want to put in front of y'all. The first tee schedule, got a good recommendation from one of my colleagues up in the business meetings I went to in Muncie. They promote getting this out as soon as possible. Parents got a lot of stuff going on throughout the summer, planning vacations and whatnot, so I wanted to put the first tee schedule out. This has gone through our marketing department, but also through the Indiana PGA is posting this on their website, and they're promoting the first tee of Indiana across, I even had a phone call today, a mother's interested in her son is trying golf for the first time on the junior high team, was asking about the first tee. And this is a nice place that I can send her to on a website where she can deep dive into, the principles and objectives of what we try to do in the first tee. It's not as much swing mechanics on golf and teaching. It's teaching the kids etiquette of the game and how to take care of the course and integrity and the honor system and things like that. So first tee, the other neat thing about this first tee, we've always hosted a Indiana Junior Prep Tour. They have kids up to high school all the way down to 7-year-olds that play from the 150s into the greens. They've been coming ever since I've been here. We worked it into the very last day of the junior camp in July, so I want to try to use that as a carrot for the kids to challenge themselves to get out and play with some other kids who are avid golfers that are driving down from Indianapolis and other parts of the state. So that was another neat thing about the first tee program. Promotion of leagues. The next 2 pages, actually, this was just an idea that I presented that I want to go out and present to some local corporations. Just an idea for them to try to start some leagues out at Sunrise. I started another one as well called the Spark League. It's an online league. Really, all I do is reserve space for them. They do all the promotion online. It's all online. We give them the same $20 rate that you guys approved on the rate sheet for league play. And it can be random people from wherever will come into town and play in that league. The business league, it was something, I got a phone call from Gallatin Steel, I believe it was, somebody across the river asking about what kind of programs we had to health and wellness for their employees of their company. So I just wanted to try to put something out there to try to entice some more play in the afternoons. The next page was a list of events that I have on my calendar so far. I haven't really counted. There's 3, 6, 9, 12. We got 15 events there, 16 events, something like that.
We'll be able to add the high school golf scramble to that too?
Yes. I thought I had that on there. No. Yes, so 17 events. I thought my number was 17. Phil, I got your Shaw one on there too, in September. But these are big money days for the golf course. maximizing, the amount of carts we have. Part of upping the new carts is being able to attract more events like this. And I actually, through the grapevine, heard another potential event that the KDH Scramble that we lost and went to Belterra is no longer at Belterra. They're moving it somewhere up north, but I'm going to try to go into KDH and see if they want to revive a smaller version of that back here in town. But the golf outings are, like I said, that's the money makers. I can make 10-15% of my monthly goal in one day at a lot of these events. So a lot of effort going into the individual outing day tournaments. It's really good for us. The last page is the Sunrise Grill menu that I put together. I met with Chrissy Whittam today. She's interested in coming back and cooking for us. I've tried to really slim the menu down, inventorying less items, try to keep our inventory levels low, but also using a lot of the excess inventory that we've got in freezers down at the Brown Gym. Also kind of grab and go. I talked to a lot of other golf courses. I've never had an original idea myself. I just steal the good ones from other people. And Shadowwood, they're very much self-serve, so I'm looking to go more of that. We have the hot dog roller out to where people can have sandwiches, breakfast sandwiches under a heat lamp ready to go. It's very the golfers are very time conscious, and we're talking about ways to pre-cook burgers and wrap them up and leave them under a heat lamp, things like that. But also be cost conscious as well, trying to limit the number of having a full menu, but very few items that we have to inventory to be able to keep up with that. On the back page, we got quite a bit of pushback also on beer prices. At the meeting, sat next to, this total random, I knew the guy to the left of me, and I sat at the table and introduced myself to the guy to the right of me. He was director of golf for the Fort Wayne City Parks. He managed 3 golf courses. I said, I thought we was going to be talking to a bunch of country club pros in here. And come to find out, we talked the whole afternoon about just different stuff, cussing the red tape a lot, but also I was asking him his beer prices. And this is exactly what they're doing at the Fort Wayne courses in northern Indiana. $2.50 for the low-end domestic beer, so PBR, Busch Light, $2.50, $3 for a Bud Light, Miller Light, and $3.50 for a premium beer, which I call Heineken or, Michelob Ultras like that. All of these items, I'm shooting for a 50% margin. So I don't want to kill it, but also looking at that 15% of our total take, it's a service. Why do people come to the golf course? To play golf. So this is just enhancing their experience while they come out to play. The last thing, I kind of want to update you on what we've done on the golf carts. So after this transition, does anybody have any questions on any of those pages?
I'm going to guess
Yeah.
you're not ready to talk about the junior summer league that we were talking about the last time we were having private conversation.
Yeah, no,
Not ready yet, okay.
The PGA Junior League is what you're talking about. No, we'll kind of look into that. And really, Jake, it's the appropriations that's going to make me comfortable to go out and start doing more programs. I'm hesitant to go do those now because my staff is so thin that I have to be the guy that picks up when somebody needs time off. If I can have a roadmap of how much I have to spend each month and I can staff up the shop where I don't have to be behind the counter answering the phone, ringing in greens fees, then I can go out and go after more of these programs. Like the First Tee spinoff is PGA Junior League. So PGA Junior League is basically Little League baseball with golf. They have jerseys, numbers on the back, they put their names on them, they play in a two-person scramble, and we can go and travel and play teams from Columbus. That's the problem once I started asking about this up at the meeting in Muncie was our opponents would be a pretty good drive away. There's nobody close. If they're in Indianapolis, they've got teams all, 15, 20 minutes away. For us, it's going to be a half hour, 45-minute drive to go play, teams at Chatterwood or Columbus or something like that. So, but there's a host of other programs that I want to expand into besides the junior golf. There's family golf. There's PGA Hope, which is working with veterans, disabled veterans. I was going to volunteer to go down and help them at Belterra. They've got a PGA Hope down there. But there's a myriad of different programs that are designed to grow the game of golf, bring more golfers in, which is exactly what we need here in Madison Sunrise. Right now, I don't have confidence that I'm not going to be needed behind the counter for all this stuff. So once we get, a more detailed appropriation expense budget to where I know I can cover the shop to be able to get away to go down to Belterra to help out with some disabled veterans, I'm excited about doing that and looking forward to, getting out and growing the game more.
If we can get Roger out from behind the counter, that also allows him to get out there and marshal the course. So
Yes.
it can take care of some of those on-course shenanigans that you might find without a marshal, as well as, such as, I should say, contraband, like alcohol, okay? So that revenue could be coming directly from the clubhouse instead of people bringing it in their bags or whatever they're doing.
Did you all want an update on the golf cart situation?
Actually, no, I was going to ask, when do we expect those to arrive?
So, the initial was taking the order from 60 carts down to 45 carts.
Right?
Also, it was a pretty elaborate GPS system that we had put, ordered to put on the carts. We took that off completely. Tried to make them as affordable as we can. Lithium batteries is an upcharge that I didn't want to go away from. That's, I think, the future of golf, and it's just the maintenance. The term of the lease can be extended further. There's just, lithium is just the way of the future. We want to go there. There's been a couple different rounds of having contracts signed, but I talked to the rep up in Muncie, and he said March 17th is when we were slated to get our fleet. I was worried that with the reconfiguring of how we're going to build the carts and slimming the quantity down, but he said, no, we kept our place in line. As long as I can get all his papers signed by, Bob and Mindy, we should be good to go to have carts, before the end of March. So I'm excited about that.
Happy St. Patrick's Day to us.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Okay.
The reduction in carts also allowed us to cut a pretty significant expense to put higher electric capacity in one of the member cart barns up there. So that was almost a $70,000 project that we were able to scratch off the books to be able to keep the majority of the fleet in the current basement charging. Christian and I have kind of found ways to put the rest of the extra 15 down in other barns on the property there.
Okay, thank you, Roger.
Thank you, Roger.
Thank you.
Do we have any other items?
Not.
Okay. At this time, we would open up the podium to anyone from the public that has any questions, comments.
So don't get used to me being the one who talks about.
Is your microphone on, Pumpkin? This is Lisa Ferguson, by the way.
Sorry.
It's on.
I don't need to say that sometimes. Y'all get tired of me being the one who talks about bathrooms. It annoys the heck out of me that we still live in a town that closes the bathrooms all winter long. So, when you walk 7 miles a day, that becomes an important thing. When you have tourists all week long, even there in the winter. I told Carla I walked the river the week that we had the flood. I know there was 100 people on the river. They're taking pictures like they've never seen a flooded river in their freaking lives. But there was no bathroom. So finally the other day I called Jean and I'm like, what's with the bathroom? And she's like, well, it's going to be closed, and then we're going to close the one on Main Street, and we're going to reopen that one because we needed parts, we didn't get them. And I'm like, couldn't we have done that in the dead of winter? It's really going to be tourist season in March, April, and May. And I know it's not y'all, I know it's not, but I keep bringing it up. I used to say to Carla, have you ever been in the bathrooms in this town? She doesn't use public restrooms.
I don't.
I do, because I walk all day. You can't get in the restrooms on Bicentennial Park. Now, we've proposed getting I've heard up to $7 million amphitheater at Bicentennial Park, and I'm excited about that. but 3 million of that's already pledged, I've been told, but we don't do anything for the bathrooms. When I was talking to Gina, she goes, well, we're going to redo those, but they're ADA accessible. I'm like, no, you went in there one day with me. I'm like, they're not even Lisa accessible. You have to walk in, straddle, close the door, and turn around. Now, y'all have never been in there, thankfully, because you know that you're men and not women. I love that about y'all. But anyway, it's just a disaster in this town for all the money that we spend and all the bragging we do about tourism and all the money we pour into parks. And we have the worst facilities in the world with restrooms. And they don't address that. And Charlie keeps going, stop talking to them about that because they don't listen and they don't care. It doesn't change. This is 3 years of restroom talk. But I keep going, no, I'm just going to keep saying it. So I invite y'all, as much as you want to go visit, Rutgers or Kiwanis or John Paul, just walk down to the restrooms and see what a mess it is in this town, because it's embarrassing to live here and have that. So I don't know when the restrooms are going to get reopened. I don't know. They're going to be wonderful. I've talked to Sean often about how the police are supposed to be the ones that open them, and then at noon, who's ever on duty kind of forgot, and you have to call the police department and ask, and they try to keep them closed a lot because of the homeless and the street people. So we have that problem. I think cameras is probably going to help a lot in that way, that if you put a surveillance, even if it's not under surveillance, like we did this at Pearl Park, we put up signs that said it was under surveillance. We don't have
Don't give
cameras
our
over
secrets
there.
away, Lisa.
Cameras, there was no cameras, but we don't have homeless people breaking into Pearl Park anymore either. So those simple signs at Lowe's kind of did the job for us over there.
But honestly, the bathrooms need to be addressed with different people, not us, because we really are not in charge of those.
I know, but it was on the park's website.
Okay, but I'm just saying, right now, that would be Tony Sorrell is the facilities person,
Okay.
and his supervisor, Chris Hale. They're the
I
people
say I
that you
did
would
ask
address.
Chris when they were going to open, and he didn't have an exact date for me. They've winterized it, so in order to open it back up, they have to do some things with the water lines. And Trev is on vacation this week, so I really hope next week they'll open that up. But Chris is the one that makes that decision now.
Okay.
It's kind of been
So
taken.
street
I thought it
department.
was like not your all's anymore, but
In
then
the
it was on the park's
restructuring.
Facebook page, like as part of the park's Facebook page. So I'm like, well, maybe it is still parks. Maybe they gave it back because somebody wants it. But,
It falls under streets.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, all of that to say, it's not your all's job, but it's Carla's.
Yes, no, it's just that with the restructuring in City Hall, the facilities have been given to different people, so Tony Sorrells and Chris Hale are the two people.
I'll be ringing them. So, the other thing I was talking to Bob about the other night when he did the State of the City address, I was so excited when he was talking about the Brown Gym, because, we're all excited. It's the birthday of the Brown Gym, and he was agreeing with all of us that were standing there. It's the most used park in town. The women are in there walking at 8 a.m., exercise at 8:45, pickleball 10 to 3:30 or quarter to 4 today. Basketball, volleyball, all the things all weekend long is going on. So it is totally the most used park in town. It's also the one that gets overlooked. So if you're not down there playing regularly, 5 days a week, then you don't know that one court was the one nobody wanted to play on because it had so many bad spots on it, you couldn't get a good game in for pickleball. Now that court's not the bad one, the middle one is, because everybody started going to the middle court. So we were talking a lot to Bob about, is there a way, we looked at that 5-year parks plan that was all beautiful that Scott did. So I don't know where Brown Gym was on that dream list, but we want to keep bringing it up because it's 100 years old. There's a lot of things we could do with it down below, as well as the gym floor. The gym floor is disastrous, and Carla doesn't get to play pickleball as much. She might want to.
I can tell you that it's on the top 5 list of parks.
Okay.
It is.
So I think we got to keep bringing it up, and we were talking the other night to Bob about applying to Bethany because that's multi-generational. It's the most used one. It's the biggest bang for our buck in town. So we just want to keep bringing that up. So
Yeah.
the
We are
last,
very aware of the needs at the Brown Gym.
I don't think most people are. I think that people just go, well, they're having a good time and it's going great down there, and where's their money? We're getting it, and that's it. And it's truly, used a lot more than anything else is in town, so we get to advocate for that. One of the other things that Charlie and I wanted to bring up, we didn't want to just lay this off on Carla, because she gets a lot laid off on her. Would have to probably go through the office now, but we did a fundraising event through Madtown Pickleball, which is a part of the Parks Department, to raise funds to get a memorial for Mary Kay. And you all recently renamed that park down, what used to be the Madison Sports Court, down there. We fundraise so well that we have more money than we need for the memorial. So we came up with the idea that maybe we could do a Mary Kay McCubbin Memorial Pickleball Tournament in the late spring when the weather gets better at the outdoor courts down there, so that we'd be able to get enough more money to offer a scholarship. Because we have $1,300, we only need $956, but we didn't want to offer a $300 scholarship, so Charlie was thinking if we did a tournament and made $300, we could have a $500 scholarship to give in Mary Kay's name, and we would like to do that very much. But to do that, we would need you all to say we're not going to be charged a fee for rental, so that we could get to that amount, hopefully, and be able to offer that scholarship, which basically would come through Madtown Pickleball, but it's also part of the Parks Department. So we wanted to pitch that to you all before we just said, hey, Carla, can we just use the courts on a random weekend? Because they would need to be close to the public for Charlie to be able to do a tournament, just to be able to kind of push our fundraising goal over what we already got it to, which we're thrilled about, to be able to offer something in Mary Kay's name. So,
And we can talk about that more as it gets closer.
well, we would need to advertise that probably the mid-March to the beginning of April, if he's going to do it the end of May.
So have him bring a proposal next month, like with his ideas, the categories, all that, the dates he would like to do,
Okay, all right.
and come with a very, with a
So, I mean,
presentation.
I'm assuming most of the time, there's a charge to rent a park. Like if you rent out the Shelter House or Hunter Hall, whatever those things are, y'all would charge a fee. But I don't think there's a fee for down there yet. So we'd like to be able to get that in the works and just see what your thoughts are on that. And if it's wrong, we can just offer the money to Kevin for, the other things, but.
I don't think it's a bad idea, but I think what Carla needs is the information about when it's going to be.
Yeah.
More
Just
than
more
anything,
specifics.
because we
Okay.
don't charge a fee down
Correct.
for that. So it's just
Okay.
more about when do you want us to close
Put it on
it
the
so you can
calendar.
advertise it.
Right. Yeah, we just don't want to advertise and then know we have to pay for it, because then, we would.
No,
There's no fee for the
There
sport
is no
card.
fee at this
Okay.
time, so we're not going to charge you.
Awesome. Okay, that's what we need to know. Thanks.
Okay, anybody else? All right, our next meeting is Wednesday, April 2nd, 4 o'clock, right here. Can I get a motion to adjourn, please?
Make a motion.
And a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye? Aye.
I'm just fast, I'm trying to get it done.
Well, I do feel need to get
I want to wait for that to.
Yes.